So hi, welcome to Woman at the Wheel. I am back on the road after being off work for a couple days. The last job I had was taking a little trailer up to Tulsa. I did that Monday. It's now Wednesday afternoon late, and I just got done fueling up the truck down in Duncan because the fuel down there is 30 cents cheaper than it is here, so it was worth driving the extra 10 miles. Because I needed to fill it up. I got about 40 gallons, I think, or 29 gallons, I think is what I bought. Something like that. Anyway, I wrote it down. I always write it down. So tonight, I'm on my way up to northeastern Kansas, a little town called Manhattan. And I won't go all the way up there tonight. I'll probably get within an hour or so of it and find a place to stay, and then in the morning I'll run on in there and pick up a trailer and haul it down, probably back here first, and then the next day take it on down to Salado, Texas. And because I'm wanting to stay off the interstate and especially the turnpike, I'm done paying turnpike fees when I don't absolutely have to do it. They're just getting too expensive. And because I'm not in a hurry, and because I don't have a trailer on right now, I'm going to run up, just go on up the back way kind of. So I'm going to cross I-35 over here east of town about, 35 miles, and run up back roads, basically highways, but back roads, all the way up into Kansas, and then all the way on up to Manhattan eventually. So I'm taking this route because I want to go completely around any big cities, which I have no reason to go into a big city right now. I've got plenty of fuel. I'm not picking anything up in any big city, any of that. So it makes sense to me to stay off the interstates. After last week on the interstates, how crazy it's getting, I'm just kind of over it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's really gotten insane, totally insane. Okay, there's my confirmation on this job. That's good. Okay, thank you. That's what I've been waiting for before I completely left town. I've been waiting to get the confirmation on this job. Now it's in. We're good. I don't have anything else I've got to address. Okay, so it's happening. It's happening right now. So this came in about an hour and a half ago, I guess. Originally he was wanting me to come down to Medill and pick up a trailer in the yard there and haul it down to Decatur in the morning, which I was absolutely willing to do. So I told him I would do that, and then he texted me back and said, well, no, that one got canceled. How would you like to go to Manhattan? I'm like, yes. So bring one back. It's a single. This is nice because I'm getting all the singles work up north. It seems like anywhere in Oklahoma City or Tulsa or Kansas or any places like that, they're sending me to get them because I'm already farther north than they are by about an hour or hour and a half. And so the air guys don't necessarily like going that far up north to get a trailer. I don't care because, they're paying me well enough that I can afford to do it. Even with high fuel and high diesel exhaust costs and high motel bills, I can still afford to do it and make money. So, and I think a lot of their guys don't want to go anywhere. They don't like traveling. So, that's okay. I mean, it means I get those jobs, which is fine. I'll take them. I'm not too proud to take them, I will say. Now I'm hoping, well, because today's Wednesday, I'll pick that up Thursday and I'll deliver it Friday. I'll be home Friday night, and then that'll be the end of the week for me, hopefully. Because there's 3 places I want to metal detect this weekend, and I want to do it on Sunday when they're closed and when people aren't going to be giving me any crap about it. Some people, even though they don't have any authority to tell you you can't or whatever, they got to make a point of getting all up in your business when you're out metal detecting. What are you doing that here for? It's none of your business. Go away. You can't do that here. Says who? I say. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. Well, you have no authority. Go away. Leave me alone. Get away from me. Quit harassing me. You know, I don't say that, but that's what I'm saying in my mind. In reality, I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, okay, all right. Thanks for saying that, I guess. See ya. And just wait till they go away. You know. But if we go on a Sunday to do it, then that knocks down the percentage of people who think they've got to come up and make some kind of a comment, you know. I'm talking about metal detecting on public ground. I've got one private spot that I got permission to go check, but there are a couple of, it's public ground, but people get funny about it, you know. They're like, well, what are you doing? Taking everything out of here? You know, yes, I'm taking it all. I'm plundering the treasury that's buried in the ground. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm being really greedy about it too. I've got a guy so tight up my ass that if I had to stop for something, he'd be sitting in the front seat with me. And I'm running the speed limit, and that's all I'm running. I'm not going to get a ticket because he wants to speed. So he won't pass me, but he won't get off my ass either. So, you know, one of that type. That's typical. I've been getting this a lot lately. Seems like everywhere I go, I got somebody up my ass. Yeah. I guess that's what makes this all so much fun. Gives me something to bitch about. So I replaced my 1T card, and I was amazed. I found one for, like, with shipping and everything, or taxes, all that, it was $72. The original one I had cost me over $100, so they're coming down in price a little bit, which is really nice, because my other one got eaten by Tuck. Good, get off me, go, please. Wheelchair on his license plate. Isn't that the way it works? Overcompensating there, dude. So anyway, I know that was mean. I know something of wherefore what I speak, so anyway. That's a whole different can of worms I don't even want to open. So anyway, I've got my 1T card in here, and hopefully I won't be having as much trouble recording as I was last week, because last week I had 2 separate cards. There were supposed to be, between the 2 cards, I had, like, I don't know, 900 gigabytes of memory space, but the cards kept screwing up and filling up, and I mean, just all kinds of weird stuff. So I thought, okay, I just don't like that. If I can't go for 3 days on one card, something's wrong. Because on a 1T card like this, I can film for a week or 2, you know. So it seems like it's behaving itself now. Maybe this will work better than the other ones. I hope so. We will see. That's pretty good coffee. Pretty good.
Okay, that was the thriving metropolis of Bray that we just came through, Bray, Oklahoma. They've got a school and they've got a little truck stop type outfit. That's pretty much it. We got cows, plenty of cows. So the place I want to detect that I've got permission to be on is just up the road here. And I'm really itching to get in there and do this. I've been wanting to do it for a while. And with Bill getting sick and stuff, that got put on the back burner for like, 2 years. 2.5 years. Something like that. So now that he's feeling better and feeling like he's up to doing this kind of stuff, I want to come out here to this special spot and see if I can find anything. What makes this spot special is there was once a roadside gas station there back in the 30s and 40s, and the road at that time wasn't even paved. I don't think this road was paved until probably the 50s or 60s. They finally paved it, probably the 60s. And so that was one of the main gas stations on this whole stretch of road. So you know they got some business. And it's up on the crest of the next hill, is right where it is. So I tried metal detecting out there before they did this road construction, because they widened this road out and they did a bunch of work here. And I tried detecting there, but the ground was so hard packed out in front of the old gas station that I couldn't even dig in it. Well, that's all been moved around now. Right there is a spot. So it's all been manipulated and plowed and whatever. So now I think I've got at least a chance if there's something down in there. It would have been in there probably fairly deep, just because, time. So maybe all that messing around with it, they did stirred that stuff up and kind of broke that ground up a little bit. And maybe I can get in there this weekend and see if there's anything that gives me a signal. And if there is, maybe we can actually dig it out of there now, because before it was just, hard packed, 40 years of hard packed dirt or more, 60 years, whatever. So I'm really anxious to go do that. And I don't want to do it by myself. I don't like going out metal detecting by myself on the highway. I don't mind going someplace like City Park or, someplace like that where I'm not on the road. But I don't like being on the side of the road, trying to do something where I'm concentrating on what I'm doing and not watching the road. So I've been waiting until Bill feels like going with me and we get some, good weather to go do it. So it just rained this morning, and after a rain is about the best time to metal detect if it's not too muddy, if it's not just soupy. You don't want to be slogging around in mud either, but some moisture in that soil makes your metal detector read better. You get better depth and better signals. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I hope we can do it. I hope I don't end up freaking working all weekend. I mean, yes and no. I want to work all I can because the money's good, but at the same time, I want some time off to have a life with Bill, you know what I mean? Which is why we're doing the eBay thing too. Because at some point I'm going to transition into doing that entirely and not go out and drive anymore. And the sooner that the Biden administration completely kills our economy, it's already about half dead. The sooner they kill it off, the sooner I'll be staying home, because there won't be any trailers moving anyway. I mean, this time last year I was running 6 days a week. This year I'm working 1 or 2 days a week if I'm lucky. So, yeah. People just aren't spending money. They don't have any. They don't have extra money, and they can't stand the price of credit,
because the interest rates are up so high. So, this is the end result of it. That's why I'm not being real finicky about these jobs. And I'm glad that my broker's giving me stuff that's within my parameters. He's not giving me any trouble about it. But he did throw me a set of doubles that I didn't really want, but I took them because I had nothing else. So he's aware. He's spreading stuff around between all his trucks so that we can at least stay afloat, which I appreciate a lot. That's why I'm working 1 or 2 days a week. The other guys are doing the same thing, I'm sure. Nobody's working 6 or 7 days a week right now because there's just not that kind of volume of stuff moving. So, I don't know. We'll see how long we can hold out. At least when I get done with it, I've got a couple of assets I can sit on until the economy, makes a swing back the other way. And it will, I'm sure. Unless these idiots put us completely into a new Great Depression or something and just it drags on for years and years. And that could happen, but I hope it won't. Hopefully we'll get somebody else in office in 2024 who can do a better job with stuff. I could think of somebody. I can think of somebody who'd be pretty good. Proven. Already was pretty good, Okay, up here on the right, there's an old gas station that's still standing. Right there, that little tin building. That's very similar to the one back down the road. It's very similar to what that was before they knocked it all down. Just so you can kind of get an idea. So those clouds you see up in front of us, that's the tail end of the front that went through earlier today. It looks like it's still raining over east of here. So I have no idea how far it's gone, but it cleared up about, I don't know, about noonish. So it's kind of a slow moving deal. Nothing like the crazy storms we were seeing the last time I ran up this way into Kansas when I went up to Kansas City, a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, when they had tornadoes all over up through Shawnee and up. I came back through Shawnee the other day, and I don't even know if I've got that on video because I think I might. But there was a little bit of tornado damage there. I saw one building that was pretty trashed out. But for the most part, it looked like it missed the main part of town. So I'm not sure where all the damage was around there, but some places did get hit. I'm just thankful every time these storms go through that we don't, because it could be us. It could be any one of us living out in here. Pearl Assembly of God. So this is what used to be known as Pearl, Oklahoma. It was a town here with a post office. And my great-great-grandfather lived out here for a little while, and he got married to his second wife out here. And they didn't stay married. They stayed married till they died, but they didn't stay together. They split the sheets and went separate ways. They never got divorced, but they didn't live together after the first few years that they were married. So, and it was a second marriage for both of them. So evidently they could not get used to each other, or didn't want to, or somebody was too cranky for the other one, or vice versa, or both. But but it's kind of funny to me to think that my people have been in this area that long. They came in here in the 1880s, 1886, I think, 84 or 86. They came in here and stayed till they all died off. So, but I never knew any of that when I was a kid. I would have felt more like I belonged here if I'd known that when I was a kid, I had no concept of belonging anywhere, really. But Things you figure out when you get older, I guess. They're doing all kinds of stuff down here. I don't know if they're putting in another pipeline or what they're doing. But I saw some trucks in here the other day when I came through. That on the right looks to me like to be a pot farm. It's got that covered fence up around it. That's a requirement for these medical marijuana growers. There's another one there. They have to have a fence that you can't see in to their actual area. That's if they're growing in an outdoor building or outside. If they're growing in a greenhouse or outdoors, then they have to have that kind of fencing around. Okay, here's the Lindsay turnoff. We're not going to Lindsay. We're going to keep going until we're on the other side of Interstate 35, which is about another, I don't know, 20 miles. 20-ish miles. It'll tell me here in a second. It should anyway. Yeah, it's maybe 17 miles to I-25 or I-35, and then another couple miles beyond that I'll get on Highway 177, go up through Pauls Valley. Actually, I'll take the shortcut up through Pauls Valley. I always forget that's there. I don't have to go all the way to I-35. I can cross it at Pauls Valley and then take Highway 19 on over to 177 or to 377. If I didn't clarify it, this is Highway 29 eastbound. Sorry about that. Sometimes I forget. I usually am pretty good about putting a note on it when I'm doing the editing. You know, putting a written tag for you so you can kind of keep track where I'm at. Okay, crossing into Garvin County. We were in Stevens County. Now we're in Garvin County. And look how summery it is looking here. It's May 3rd. And it's awesome. Everything's green. Green, green. I've had to mow a couple times already. I need to mow again. I was going to do that this afternoon. If I didn't get a job, I was going to mow all along the driveway. But I'll have to do that this weekend, I guess. I like mowing. That's one of the things I think is fun. Bill will do it when it needs done, but I actually enjoy it. So he's nice enough to just let me do it when I want to. If I'm not there to do it, he'll go out and take care of it. But he does a whole lot of other stuff that's, you know, stuff that I can't do, he does. Stuff that I don't know how to do or can't, or, you know, don't have the skills. He does all that kind of stuff. the other day, Bill went and bought another freezer. We have 2 freezers already, not very big ones. One is my old freezer that I've had for, oh God, like 20 years now, 25 years maybe. And it was big enough to put my elk meat in. And that's the one I had for years and years and years. Well, last year we decided we were going to buy half a beef. Our brother-in-law, John Wayne, married to Bill's sister. He knows a guy that raises beef, and it's really good beef. So last year he bought, or the year before last, he bought a half beef, and they had us over and we had steak, and it was really good. So Bill said, well, next time you buy half, let me know, and I'll buy one too. So he did. So last year we bought our first half beef from this guy. And it was weird because we had bought a half beef from somebody else, but it was terrible. And we ended up giving it back. He was nice enough to give us back our money on it because it just was not good beef. It was tough, and I think it had a lot to do with the processing plant that processed it, because the beef he took in shouldn't have been tough like that. I think they just gave him meat that didn't belong to him, which is utter and complete bullshit. When you take beef to the processing, they're supposed to give you back your beef, not just some beef. And the way that they had cut the beef was weird. They didn't cut it into standard, like American steak cuts. They did some weird shit to it, so we were not happy with it. So the guy was nice enough to take it back. So he did. So we ended up buying half beef from the guy that John bought his from. And man, it was good. It was really good. So we just bought the second half that we bought from him like a week ago. Well, that filled up our extra freezer that we had bought to put that half beef in, because my freezer was already full in the house of all kinds of stuff, not, beef, but just all my normal stuff I freeze. I've got everything in there from, stuff out of the garden to, I don't know, frozen vegetables and other meat that I bought at the grocery store, stuff like that. I mean, it was just full of stuff. So when we bought that half beef, we had to go out and buy a freezer to put it in. So that's out in the barn, or in one of the barns. And in the meantime, and it was a small freezer like the one I've got. It's not a very big freezer. So we got 2 smaller ones. So Bill went out shopping last week. He looked and looked and looked, and he thought he found what he wanted, but he went and looked at it in person. He looked online, but he went and looked at it in person. He's like, no, that's not even going to work. That's too small. That's way too small, because we need an extra freezer now because we've got half a pig coming. His granddaughter's daddy is in the pig business, so now we're buying half a pig, I guess, occasionally. So we needed something to put that in. So the one he had picked out was too small. It was only like 8 cubic feet. I could have told him that would be too small, but he had to go see for himself. Like, that's smaller than my refrigerator, by a third. So he ended up getting a different freezer, and it's a Kenmore, which all of our freezers are Kenmores, I think. Mine, though, I've been running for 20 years and has run like a dream, is a Kenmore. And it was a cheap Kenmore. I think I gave like $199 for mine. Well, they're more expensive these days, but he went and got one, and it's gigantic. It's like 60 inches long. Mine's a 48 inch, I think. But so he goes and he gets this giant freezer ordered, and they delivered it. Was it last night? Might have been the night before last they delivered it. So I went out and looked. I'm like, that's huge. You could put 2 bodies in there. I mean, it's giant. So now we've got this giant freezer. So probably what we're going to do is move the half beef over into that, because it'll be a better fit, and then put the half a pig in the little one, because I think it's a 40 or 48 inch, or one other small one. So anyway, so we got to do that, I guess, when I get back this weekend, because I'm not sure when this pig's supposed to be ready. But it's not going to be that big. I mean, these pigs aren't that big. So it's probably one of the ones his granddaughter, our granddaughter. Well, I guess she's my granddaughter too. One of the pigs she was showing. So, yeah. I'm like, just don't tell me which one it was, okay? I don't want to eat any animal that I actually know personally. You know what I mean? So if I just don't know which one it was, I won't worry about it. But if I knew which one it was, and it was one of them that I thought was cute or I liked, then, I'd feel kind of bad. I know, it's crazy. So then all this, and he's thinking, I'm sure, about all this freezer space he's got now. So he goes, you know what we ought to do next year? I'm like, what? He says, we ought to get 100 chicks or 100 eggs, 100 chicks or something, and then butcher them. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. No freaking way. If he wants to do it, that's fine. I won't give him trouble, but I don't want any parts of it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know the chickens. I don't want to know any part of that. It's not something I want to do. And it's not like I'm all that squeamish. It's just, I just don't want to deal with it. It's just one of those things. I don't have a problem going out and shooting an elk, or I don't think I'd have any problem shooting a cow if I didn't know it, if I had to eat it. But I just don't want to get that close to it, just don't. I just don't. I like my food anonymous. That's the deal. And if I was a cannibal, I would feel the same way. I would still want people I didn't know as opposed to people I do. You know what I mean? I don't want to eat any critters that I'm personally acquainted with. I really just don't want to do that. So I don't know if he's going to do it or not. He probably won't, because I'm not going to help him do it. I refuse. I'm not going to pluck 100 chickens. I'm not going to kill 100 chickens. I'm not going to clean 100 chickens. I'm not going to do it. Now, if he wants to get his sister to come help him or something, and they want to do that, that's up to them, but I'm not doing it. Call me stubborn and mean, but I'm not doing it. Just not in this lifetime. Not unless things get really, really bad and I absolutely just have to do something like that to survive. I just don't want to do it. I know. It's funny. It's kind of funny, it's kind of not too. Because, I eat meat, so it's obvious that I'm responsible for critters dying. I just don't do it myself. I leave it to other people to do all that stuff. And honestly, I don't see anything really wrong with that, because other people are benefiting from their willingness to do it, so I don't have to. And I benefit from it as well, because I don't have to. So, I get my meat and get to eat it too, in a way. Okay, so we're almost to the shortcut. Cut off to Paul's Valley. So what this shortcut does, it cuts up at an angle to Paul's Valley and saves me probably, 5 or 6 miles, maybe 4 or 5 miles. If I were to just go straight over across 35 and then up 177, so it's probably not much faster because it's a slow road, but it's not a real long way. But I didn't even know this was here. Bill showed me this shortcut. He used to, when he was working, when he had his business, he did a lot of refrigeration for Kentucky Fried Chicken, Taco Bell, the ones locally. There was a company that owned several of them around here, and he did a lot of maintenance for all of them. And so he ran over there and worked there a lot. So he found this shortcut and shared it with me. So I did not find this on my own. I can't take credit for it. Up there flying around. Probably is. We do actually get pelicans in here occasionally. They come in and hang out on the city lakes. I don't know if they ride up on storms or what they're doing, why they come in this far, but they do. And we're like, I don't know, 10 hours driving away from the ocean, from the Gulf. But somehow they end up coming up in here. Oh good, this guy's turning in behind me. He's going to be up my ass this whole way. People use this cutoff, but they don't want to run the 45. They want to run it really fast. And I've had lots of people get really pushy with me on this road because, I try and run it at the speed limit, or close to it anyway. Maybe not exactly, but close. So I've seen, sheriffs and other cops out here running traffic on it. So they're aware that it's here, and they're aware people speed on it. I'm sure the people that live out here complain. That's not a 65-mile-an-hour road. It's just not. And they want to run it like it is. He's being reasonable, though. He's staying back off me. I'm glad. But really, if you can't tell yet, I really detest tailgating. It pisses me off. It's like, if you're that stupid that you think it's a smart idea to run right up on somebody's ass and push them, you're an idiot. Sorry, but it's true. It's just the way it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Tell it like it is. It's my specialty, telling it like it is. I've not always been this way. When I was younger, I wouldn't really, I didn't want any kind of conflict, and I didn't see myself as a person who would ever correct people or have any authority or anything like that. I was more of a kind of a, I don't know, back in the 70s I was kind of a hippie girl, I guess. Then I went through kind of a biker stage. you know how young adults do. They go through different stages trying to figure out what they're going to do and who they're going to be. So I kind of flailed around with all that stuff for a while, and I was never very authoritative or anything like that. Didn't have any interest in, in any of that, because I didn't want conflict. I didn't like arguing with people. I didn't like having any kind of a conflict or whatever. Well, being a cop cured me of that. Actually, being a police dispatcher cured me of that, because I figured out pretty early on when I got into the dispatching business that here I am on one end of the phone and there's a person on the other end and they're freaking out. And I've got to extract the right information from them. So I got really good at telling them, stop crying, stop yelling, tell me what's going on, take a breath and tell me. You know, I got pretty good at being direct. And it kind of, I probably took it too far, I don't know. So I'm extremely direct as a result of all that. So, you know, I don't try and sugarcoat anything for anybody anymore. You know, I just don't do it. If somebody asks me something, I'll tell them honestly whatever the answer is, you know. What I think anyway, you know. So I got over not liking conflict, and I realized somewhere along the way that conflict isn't really the act of just being straightforward and blunt with people. Conflict is when you don't want to deal with something, but you're forced into it by circumstance and it makes you feel bad. You don't like the feeling. That's what conflict actually is. I mean, aside from like a war or something, but you know, just in day-to-day life, people that don't like conflict, it's not that they don't like conflict, it's that they don't like the feeling of having to, you know, they don't want to feel bad because somebody's saying something that they might have to burst their bubble or whatever. Just, you know, that's kind of more what that is. But so once I figured that out, then I decided, well, I'm not anti-conflict. I just didn't want to be the person to tell these people what they don't want to know. And then I got over that because, you know, that's what you do when you're a cop. When you're a dispatcher and a cop, well, and an adult. Sometimes you just have to tell people the shit that they don't want to know. You know, it goes along with the territory. And I know they say don't kill the messenger. Well, some people don't hold to that. Some people do want to kill the messenger. But, you know, it doesn't change the facts. So, yeah. So anyway, I got over my fear of confrontations, I guess, is a good way to put it. You know. And now I don't care. If somebody wants to get up in my face and give me some shit about something, you know, I can hold my own. I can stand my ground. But it's not because I'm trying to be an ass, it's because I'm just blunt. You know, I've learned not to hem and haw and not to try and schmooze anybody or bullshit them, because people really don't like that. They don't always like hearing the truth straight up either, but at least once you've given it, it's like medicine, you know. Once you get it swallowed down, it's okay. It's like, it tasted like shit, but it's over with. Well, that's kind of how getting the blunt truth is, I think. You know, you may not like it, you may resist hearing it, but once you've heard it, then it's done. It's over with. And then you can go on, you know. Isn't that bizarre? Things I think of driving down the road, it's like, I don't know. My brain is just full of useless bullshit. A bunch of useless stuff. So we're already almost over here to Paul's Valley. It didn't take very long. Even at 45 miles an hour, it didn't take very long. There's a little place over here. It's like a railroad car, I think. There's a little red thing over on the left. You can see that. I think that's a little old antique or junk shop or something. Or used to be. I don't know what it is now. I've never seen it open, or I would have already been in there and found out. Because I haven't just spent, the last 10 years running around this country hauling trailers. I was retired from like 2014 until 2021. So I had about 7 years of being completely retired, before Bill got sick and all that. So I got out occasionally and went and explored stuff, poked around and see what was going on. Oh, I see why he's sitting there, because he can't turn yet. All these trucks are backed up. That's gotta suck. That would drive me crazy. I'm glad I don't drive a big truck doing that. It's a Walmart distribution center, and they've got all these trucks coming in to get their loads or drop off a load, and they're backed up clear out to the highway here. So now they're just sitting in the road waiting to turn in, waiting for their turn to turn in and get off the highway. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Alright, so we're coming into Pauls Valley, southwest side of the town. And we're going to cross over I-35 here. So it'll be behind us. We can kiss I-35 goodbye. Goodbye, I-35. No use for Interstate 35. No use for it whatsoever. So if this works out the way I think it will, seems like the last time I did this, I picked up my trailer and I went home and slept in my own bed, and then got up the next morning early and went down and delivered it. And I think that's what I'm going to do with this one. My only time constraint is going to be getting south of Temple, Texas by whenever they close, 4 or 5 o'clock on Friday, because tomorrow's Thursday, so that'll be Friday. So that's kind of good. I probably won't get another job this week, which is fine. This puts me right about where I need to be. Not working too many jobs, not working too many days a week, but I'm making my minimum plus a little bit, my desired minimum. So it's all working out really well. And you may think, well, why aren't you just working a whole bunch? Well, there's not a whole bunch of work, but even if there was, last year I worked a whole bunch and I ended up paying more in taxes because I made too much money. So I need to make considerably less money this year because I'm not going to buy another truck. The only thing that saved me on the taxes was the fact that I bought that red Ford. So that put my taxes back down to a normal range, but I would have had to pay a lot if I hadn't done that. And so I'm not going to have an extra $20,000 laying around to buy a truck with this year. I don't want to have. I want to slow down and kind of pace myself so I can stand to keep doing this for a few more years. I don't know how long this business is going to last. I mean, the economy may get so bad that nobody's buying anything, and then we'll all be sitting at home with nothing to do at all. As bad as it is now, after just 1 year of this or 2 years of this, it's knocked our volume way down. I think we're probably running right now at about 20% of last year's volume as far as trailers that are moving. So we have lost a lot of business, a lot. And I don't know how long, the company I'm leased to, I don't know how long they're going to be able to hang on if it gets worse. They may end up having to close up shop. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope not. I hope things get better and things pick back up and everybody, I hope. We'll just have to wait and see, because Who knows? Who knows? I don't have a crystal ball. My crystal ball is busted. I know this is like, you're thinking I'm on the wrong road or whatever. I thought that too the first time I came through here, but this will actually turn into kind of the main drag. It's very bizarre. But this is Paul's Valley. This is what it looks like around here. Hilly, trees, vines, grass. Yep, there's our busted up squad car again. Get a better look at it today. That's an old cop car. It's been wrecked. Clearly has been wrecked. Still says 911 on the back end of it, so it's probably a city cop car. Which would make sense, it's a Crown Vic. That's what I drove when I was a cop, was a Crown Vic most of the time. I think there the last month or two, I was driving some kind of SUV. I hated it. I missed my Crown Vic really bad. It was okay, I was about done anyway. I didn't know it, but I was. Most fun car I ever drove, I can tell you that. Not too many cars I've had came equipped with lights and sirens. When you get your hands on one, it changes your perspective about a lot of stuff. Okay. Go over here on the main drag. And there we've officially worked our way into almost downtown Pauls Valley. There's a junk shop over here I'd love to go dig through, but I don't want to go there without Bill either. He's actually enjoying doing this, I think. He's finding some good stuff. He's got a good eye for finding stuff that's sellable. He's always been the guy that could go to a yard sale when everybody else has been through it, couldn't find anything or didn't see the good stuff. He'll go in toward the end and find everything in there that's really good. Get it dirt cheap. That's how he got me my metal detector. You know, it's $5 he paid for that thing. Insanely. If it would have been me, they would have wanted full retail price, you know. It's just how it works. I'm not as good at getting deals. I'm getting better at dickering though. 'Cause I'm not afraid to ask them anymore, you know. Well, what would you do if I offered you, you know, this for that? And most of the time they're like, yeah, we can do that. I never did that my whole life. I never wanted to bargain with anybody. I just wanted to have the price marked on it so I didn't have to argue with them or whatever. Talk about dumb, huh? Dumb ideas people get. So I probably paid extra for everything I ever bought used because I, you know, didn't want to. It goes back to that confrontation thing. Stupid. Really stupid. It's a cool cool house. Oh, looks like it's been turned into a beauty shop. Look out, kiddo, little bitty kid. I don't know what she was doing, but she's throwing herself into it. She was doing it wholeheartedly. Well, the camera moved around a little bit, but not anywhere near as much as it was, so I must have it kind of pretty close to good. Like that. It's pleasing. I guess I probably updated you on the brake controller situation on this truck. We're getting ready to cross the Washita River. So I got inspected a couple weeks ago and failed the inspection because the brake controller wasn't working correctly. We never did understand what was going on with it before, so it's kind of a good bad thing that I got inspected, because it helped us to eliminate the issues and figure out what was actually going on. So Bill got another one and installed it on here for me, one just like the one in the Ford. It's a Kurt, so it's working great. I mean, I tested it and double tested and retested it on every trailer that I've pulled since he changed it out, and it's 100% reliable so far, so I'm really happy with it. So now I'm not afraid of getting inspected again. So I think next time I'll pass the inspection, unless I forget to do something, like keep my logbook up to date or something, and there's not much chance of that because I'm pretty good about that. But so I think I've eliminated the thing that was doing the worst, which is good, because next week, or the week after maybe, might be the third week of May, is when they're going to start pulling over and inspecting every commercial vehicle they can get their hands on. And they do this annually for 1 week every summer or every spring. They used to do it in June, now they're doing it in May. But they just pull over trucks from dusk till dawn, or dawn till dusk, and they just do nothing but inspect trucks all day, and they put all their troopers out doing it. And they usually have a theme that goes along with it. Like, I think last year it was brakes, checking brakes, and then this year it's probably going to be something else. But, last year I was fresh off of getting a ticket for not having the brake controller working the first time, and we thought we fixed the problem. But I stayed home that week. I was like, I'm not even going to risk it, because I don't need another $250 ticket or whatever. Well, I got one here a while back. I don't know how much it's going to be. They'll fine me as much as they think they need to. I hope it's not too much, but it is what it is. But now I'm pretty confident that, next time I get inspected, I think I'm going to be okay. So, well, I hope so. I really hope so. I'd really like to pass a roadside inspection. I used to pass them all the time. With my 2-ton, I never had any problem passing an inspection in any other truck, actually, than this truck. This is the one truck but that was the same issue both times that I failed the inspection. It was that damn brake controller. So now it's out of the picture. It's defunct. It's unhooked, and there's a new separate one in here, so I'm pretty happy about that. So if I do get in for an inspection, I'll be glad, because maybe I can pass it and they'll give me a sticker. Because when you pass an inspection, they put a little sticker on your windshield, or they used to anyway. I don't know if they do that anymore. They used to put a little sticker on your windshield, and then they would not inspect you again for a year or so. Or chances of you getting inspected were less anyway. Well, that's not always true, because I got inspected twice in one day. One year when they were doing their Inspect-A-Palooza. I actually got a ticket that year too, but that was because I was a little longer than I was supposed to be. And the trooper looked and looked until he found something he could write me a ticket for, which, I mean, that's his job, but I'm still kind of irked at him for it, because he kept me there for, I don't know, like an hour while he did everything. And the last thing he did, he says, well, I got one last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to measure you nose to tail and make sure you're in length. I'm like, okay. Had no idea. Had no clue. So, yeah. So I didn't get a sticker that day, but I had already gotten my sticker that day. I already had an inspection, and I passed it. And then he got me because my load was hanging over the end of my trailer, and it made me just a little longer than I was supposed to be, evidently. I had no idea. So things you do, you live and learn. So here we're getting ready to have this Inspect-A-Palooza again in a couple weeks. And I think I'm kind of ready for it. I don't know. Because I know what they do. You know, they either, well, it depends on the trooper you get. Because when I got inspected at the Colbert station down, that one day when I got inspected twice, the guy at Colbert was great. You know, he just inspected me. Everything was great. He gave me my sticker and sent me on my way. And then the other guy got me, like 5 minutes before he was supposed to go home, he decided to pull me over, the last truck, and I was like, I already got inspected today. He's like, well, that's okay, you can get it inspected again. And they're not supposed to do that, actually. They are not supposed to do that. But he did. And, you know, I think that's why I still hold a grudge, because, you know, he wasn't supposed to do that. But what do you do? I mean, when it's a trooper telling you to do something, you just freaking do it. And you don't argue with them. And I didn't argue with him. Even after he gave me a ticket, I didn't argue with him. You know, what's the point, right? Okay, I think I'm going to take a break from filming, since we're kind of just, I don't know, going over territory that we already did last week. Well, I don't know. This is kind of neat, isn't it? Kind of pastoral looking. Got the silo over here, and ponds, fields, cows. I guess I'll stick with it here a little bit more longer. I'm going to lose my light in another hour and a half probably. I just don't want to go on and on today, because I'm starting to feel like I'm just jabbering. Not like I never felt like that before, you know, but maybe once or twice. Maybe, if I'm, you know, I'm being honest. Maybe. It's so pretty. Look at these wildflowers. Oh my gosh. Seems to me like the Texas bluebonnets faded really fast this year. Maybe they always do. But they started coming in March, I think. And then they were done. They're pretty much done now. So they didn't stick around that long. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a shortcut over, cutting the corner off where I would turn north, and just cutting across at an angle. I just happened to see this road, and I haven't been on this road particularly, but it'll run me over to 59, which I have been on. So this is a new road for me. I may run up 177. I think I will, up through Ponca City and all that, because I'm going to be driving at night, and here in a couple hours it's going to get dark, and then I'll be driving on familiar roads, instead of unfamiliar roads. I'd rather drive on the familiar ones in the dark, just because it, makes sense. If you've been over it a couple times, you have a better idea than if you're just going into it cold. So I think that's what I'll do, just run up 177. That'll still get me into Stillwater. That's the main town I'll have traffic issues around. It's just a little slow getting through there. And it's not so much because of the town itself, it's because they've got the highway is all torn up. They've been doing construction on it forever. So they've just got it all ripped up there. But I also found a way to get around that too, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I don't have to get too far afield, and I can cut more to the east once I get up into Kansas. 'Cause I know the roads up there. I'd rather go up through Ponca City and Arkansas City and Winfield, I think. I like that route quite a bit. The road's pretty good, and the services are close enough together. If I need something, I can just stop and get it. If I need a cup of coffee or need to make a pit stop or buy fuel. I'm getting more and more familiar with the businesses along there, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I think so. Now, I may end up coming back down the interstate tomorrow, just because it'll be quicker pulling the trailer, and then again I may not. I don't know. I may run back this same route and then cut over. I may get on the interstate and go through Oklahoma City and then on down, but we'll see. It just depends on how much time is of the essence, and I don't think it's really going to be that big of a deal. So I mean, it's going to take me about 10 or 11 hours to get from Manhattan, Kansas to Salado, Texas anyway. 10 or 12 or 13 driving hours. So I've got to split that into 2 days anyhow. The question is how and where to split it up. What I like to do, if I'm not going close to home, is I like to get relatively close to wherever I'm delivering and use up all my drive hours the first day, and then go in early the second day and deliver it. But if I'm going to go home tomorrow night and then get up early and go deliver it then my timing doesn't really matter as much. As long as I'm home long enough to be home for 10 hours, and I will be, because when I pick that up, it's not that far. It's like 7 hours back with it. So I can get up and drive, 4 or 5 hours in the morning and get it delivered. So that'll be good. I can divide it up like that, where I'm not just running all my hours out tomorrow. I don't need to. So I think I'm going to call it quits for today, and we'll pick this up again in the morning, or if I see something real interesting later today on the way up, I'll be back. But if not, then I will see you in the morning when we go pick this thing up. So y'all have a good one. Thanks for riding along.